We've got Michigan football recruiting rumors coming up on today's show. You guys asked for it. I asked you last time, do you want more? You guys said you did. So we'll jump into that in a second. Before we do, quick favor, I'm asking you, I'm way behind on my quota. We're working with Newsbreak. They're sponsoring the show, but we got to drive them some downloads. So I need 10 downloads today. So if you guys could, go to chatsports.com/MichiganNB, type it into your browser. The Newsbreak app gives you local news, politics, sports, videos. Take a look. See this bad boy? I don't know if you can see in the camera. I'm looking at this bad boy. I've got Detroit Free Press, an article on Kwame Kilpatrick, the former mayor. I've got Detroit Police on some criminal activity, the vaccine updates, all kinds of stuff. You got the Free Press, you got the Detroit News. Whatever zip code you're in, whether Detroit, Ann Arbor, etc., they aggregate all the best news, sports, and politics for you. Just go to chatsports.com/MichiganNB. iPhone or Android, it'll drop you in to download it. And I'll tell you what, if you do it, just tweet at me. I'll feature you on the show as a loyal watcher. So go ahead and do it right now. We got more Michigan football news, or I guess some Michigan football news and rumors on the recruiting class coming up right now. I'm your host, James Yoder from Chat Sports. We've got some Michigan football recruiting rumors, and I'll tell you what, folks, there is one player that seems to have all of the Michigan internet sphere in a buzz, and that is the number 2 overall player in the 2022 class, Walter Nolen, because on Sunday afternoon, as he was departing Florida, the University of Florida campus, as he took an official visit there, the first weekend of official visits in nearly a year and a half, he tweeted out something that we'll show you here in a second, but it led to a lot of speculation. Is he making a decision to go to Florida? Is he making a decision? He went to Florida, didn't like what he saw. He was with Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan staff a couple of days prior, back on June 1st. So, the number 2 overall prospect in the country. I want to toss up on screen. Go ahead and throw it over there. What he tweeted out Sunday afternoon. I would like to announce I will be shutting down my recruitment and making a decision. And I joked, must be, didn't see what he liked out of Florida. He's coming to Michigan. Maybe that's the case, maybe not. His dad, though, did clarify a day or so afterwards from Walter Nolen Sr., his dad, said basically everyone's in a fuss over a tweet when people were asking him and trying to get a hold of him about whether that means his son made a decision, whether he's committing. Always said he was shutting it down, never said he was committing to anyone or a date. I will tell you this. Michigan got to bring their A++ game. Florida did a good job this past weekend. So that is pretty dang interesting from his dad. So he tried to say, hey, it's not necessarily that he's making a decision already, but he did say that Michigan needs to bring their A+ game. So some of that speculation, by the way, A++ game, some of that speculation that Florida may have kind of closed the deal on him, I don't think it's too far-fetched. He's out of Memphis. Florida's probably been a team he's followed for most of his life. And with him coming a week from Friday to Ann Arbor, folks, I'm just going to say this. Michigan must wow Nolen and his family. That is an absolute must. I don't care what they have to do. You can fill the entire big house up with 115,000 people, have them chanting his name, have Tom Brady and Charles Woodson come on campus, have James Earl Jones do an entire hype video for him. Whatever you have to do, this is a monumental potential steal from SEC country out of Memphis. Coming up, his mom's side of the family, he's still got grandparents from the greater Detroit area. Apparently has a few family members who were Michigan grads, Michigan alums. So Michigan absolutely needs to wow Walter Nolen. He should be on campus a week from Friday. I'll look up the date there. It is the 18th. He'll fly into Detroit from Memphis and have 18th, 19th. They should depart on Sunday. Bringing his family, bringing his mom, bringing his dad. So we'll see what happens with him. But I'm going to ask you guys this question. If you follow this recruiting saga, the number 2 overall player in the country, we obviously all know the number 1 player, Quinn Ewers is going to Ohio State. Will Michigan land Walter Nolen? I want to know from you guys. Type M if it's Michigan. Type F if it's Florida, which I kind of lean to a little bit myself based off of his tweet right after their visit. Type A if it's going to be Alabama, who's been rumored to be the leader this entire time, or potentially a dark horse. Some people might say Georgia. I think LSU is probably in the 4th best position right now to land his services. So type M, A, F, or L down in the comments. Make sure you guys do download the News Break app. It is chatsports.com/MichiganNB. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'll go a little deeper. You see a picture of the app. Awesome news for the city of Detroit, Ann Arbor. If you live in the middle of Wisconsin, the middle of Nebraska, awesome news for you right down to the zip code. Local news and weather. You've got politics. If that's your thing, you can see both sides of the aisle, I guess, if you want. And awesome sports content. If you follow Michigan football, you've got reputable sources like maybe the Detroit News, Free Press, MGO Blue. Some unreputable sources in there too, like MGO Blog and Maize and Brew. Come on, just kidding, throwing a little shade at them. It's chatsports.com/MichiganNB. All of our videos in there. We're starting to put some more exclusive videos in the Newsbreak app. So go ahead and download it. iPhone or Android, it is the best news aggregation curation app for your zip code. Do us a favor, go to chatsports.com/MichiganNB, download it, let's get some credit, and we'll have the Newsbreak folks a little more happy with this show. Is Michigan football, are they listening to me? Are they tapping my phone? Are they just watching this show that you've had out for a number of years? I think it's a good chance they can, because there's some new decoration in and around the Schembechler Hall and the weight room and such. And there's a recruit, Luke Fletcher. He posted a few photos on Twitter yesterday, and one of them from Michigan's weight room, which I'll give University of Michigan credit. They may have the biggest and best weight room in the entire country. And so he posted that photo, and I'm going to see if I can get the production team to zoom in here in a second. So beat Ohio State again. That seems to be the thing that I'm seeing on the screen. As soon as we get the production team to have it up, we'll zoom in and see it. So I harped all of last year. Beat Ohio State again. I created my hashtag BOSA, B-O-S-A, beat Ohio State again, because everything I had seen, Michigan did not put the emphasis like they had under Brady Hoke with Jim Harbaugh on beating Ohio State again. Although the Buckeyes, they've been winning forever, and they seem to put a ton of emphasis on Michigan. And then we got producer in my ear, we've got it. Zoom in on that photo from Luke Fletcher. It says, "What are you doing to beat Ohio State today?" And I don't know if it's going to get the job done, but I am very happy to finally see that it's happening. So what are you doing to beat Ohio State again today? It is big, it is bold, up on the walls at the Michigan football weight room. And if you throw this one up on screen, Sam, at least at me, Michigan. You know, it's a thing from the internet. You know, if you're going to steal my stuff, at least at me, at least tag me in the photo, right? Maybe put a little at James Yoder on Twitter on it, because I put this on every video pretty much from the end of 2019 after Ohio State came into Michigan Stadium and crushed your and my Michigan Wolverines. And then I said, okay, look, 2020, this has got to be the year. Now, they didn't play a game in 2020, so it really didn't matter one way or another if they were putting emphasis or not. But Ohio State's going to start a redshirt freshman or a true freshman quarterback, and they got all kinds of talent coming in. So this might be the best and, frankly, the last opportunity Michigan has for a number of years to catch Ohio State. Buckeyes got to come north to Michigan. A lot of players that they're replacing. Although they have awesome talent on offense, that quarterback position has been so vital in this series, really going back to Chad Henne. I think you could argue that Ohio State has had a better quarterback outside of maybe 2011 with Denard over a rookie freshman Braxton Miller. So, comment Bosa. I know it's the name of an Ohio State football player, a couple of them, and that's okay, all right? We're stealing it from them. If you want Ohio State to go down, if you want to see them quit winning, and if you want Michigan to beat Ohio State, and frankly, if you're happy to see that the Wolverines are starting to put some emphasis on it, whether they claim to or not, I didn't think that they did much. Go ahead in the comments and just type Bosa. We're going to beat Ohio State again, and we're going to steal the name Bosa from Ohio State football. And if you guys haven't yet, follow me on Twitter at James Yoder. I'm pretty active on Twitter. If there's news on Michigan football, I'm usually pretty quick to react to it, give my opinion, put the information out there, maybe go a level deeper. So go ahead and follow me. It is at James Yoder on Twitter. Would really appreciate if you do. Come up to the season, the more Twitter followers we have, the more content that we can put out. Now here in the Michigan Football Report, I'm going to go over 5 recruits that I think are likely to commit next to Jim Harbaugh's program. The month of June, big time for Michigan football recruiting. A ton of recruits coming in for their official visits, and some 23 and 24 recruits coming in for unofficial visits. some of those folks might commit. And my number one most likely player to commit right now is Micah Pollard, the 3-star linebacker out of the state of Florida. Just visited this past weekend out of Jacksonville. A lot of rumors out there that he was right in the cusp to commit and was pushing there, and potentially Michigan was going to push hard for him to do so. 6'3", 220 pounds. He's only the number 525 player in the country. So we'll keep an eye on what we got from Micah Pollard. I think that from what I've seen of his film, he's definitely speedy, but he's definitely got some size too. So 3 stars, maybe he'll pop up to 4 stars, but Michigan certainly feels that he is the kind of player that they need in their defense. A lot of new coaches on the defensive staff, not going necessarily for those wildly fast players like Don Brown had sometimes with Devin Bush and others. So Micah Pollard by number 1. Number 2, Nate Johnson is a name you've probably heard before. He's not one of the top recruits in the country. He's not one of the top 20 or 25 quarterbacks in the country, but for some reason, Michigan has identified him as the guy they want in their class. He's out of the state of California, coming from Northern California, just visited Utah this past weekend, expected to visit Michigan as well later this month. If I should say later this week, 6/11, he will be in Ann Arbor this coming Friday. So visited Utah last week. Michigan this upcoming weekend. Those are rumored to be his top 2. Some teams also in the mix for him. I had those here. Oh, yeah. Utah, obviously Arizona State, and UCLA. Michigan has apparently told him that they will use him in a similar fashion that the Baltimore Ravens, John Harbaugh, Jim's brother, uses Lamar Jackson. So that potentially could be, intriguing for him. If this is the recruit, though, that you get, you've got to go big time, land a 5-star like Dante Moore in the 2023 class. How about 2024 recruit, though? How about CJ Carr? I don't know if you heard the name of the player. He's only finishing up his freshman year, a 2024 recruit. Has been on campus, Michigan. Last week was at Detroit Day. This is Lloyd Carr's grandson, okay? He's apparently a pretty dang good player, right? Some people say, well, is he a legacy? Are they only offering him because he's Lloyd Carr's grandson? I don't think that is the case from what these recruiting pundits have said, from him competing in camps this summer, this spring, coming off his freshman season. So CJ Carr, freshman, going into his sophomore year this year. He's got 3 years of high school left, but I think I've seen enough, I've heard enough from folks that have been around his recruitment that he's not going to go anywhere else. So he might just pull the trigger and be Michigan's first commit of that 2024 class. How about Hayden Schwartz, the 3-star defensive lineman? You're seeing a kind of that first one, Micah Pollard, then these last 2 we'll talk about. You're seeing a theme here. These are a lot of players from the state of Florida. So Hayden Schwartz visited recently. His dad said Michigan had everything he wanted from a football and from an academic perspective. As I said, out of the state of Florida, he is out of Jacksonville, 6'4", 244 pounds. I think he needs to put some weight on. If he's going to play defensive line, could potentially be an outside guy, but the way I've seen him play at 6'4", he probably makes more sense to move inside and be a bigger body defensive tackle, nose tackle. We'll see what happens there. 3 stars, all of these guys are, including Jordan Phillips, the linebacker out of, Osai, Sam? No, Florida. I'm talking about the city he is. Unofficial visit in May. He came up on his own dime, his own accord last month. Also planning apparently to be an official visitor later this month. So a couple visits back to back. I've got him as my number 5 player on the list of likely to commit to Michigan. 3-star defensive lineman out of the state of Florida. So you got Hayden Schwartz, you got Phillips, and you've got Micah Pollard, all 3 stars out of the state of Florida. Michigan has definitely put an emphasis on the state of Florida with this new recruiting staff that they've got going on over the last couple months. So we'll see if any of these 5 players commit here in the next couple of days or weeks. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. It is youtube.com/MichiganTV. We're at 13,500 or so subscribers. Keep this bad boy growing. If you like the show, you haven't subscribed yet, you're only doing yourself a disservice, because if we don't grow, there are never much resources to continue to put out awesome shows. Come the season, I might want to do a couple live shows per week. I always have my post-game shows available and ready for you. It is youtube.com/MichiganTV. Take a look at where Michigan's at in the recruiting rankings for the 2022 class. You saw those 5 players. 4 of the 5 are recruits that could make an impact on this list. Not necessarily in the 4 or the 5 stars, but Ohio State is dominating. They're number 1 in the Big Ten. They're number 1 in the country now after getting a top 60 overall player yesterday. a wide receiver out of Chicago. 13 commits for Ohio State, 4 5-stars, a quarterback, a wide receiver, a defensive back, and one other player. 7 4-stars. Rutgers. What? Rutgers, 13 commits right now. 5 4-stars for Rutgers. This is turning out to be the best class they've ever had in the history of the school. Penn State right now, the number 3 class. And number 4 in the Big Ten right now is Michigan with only 7 commits. One of them being a 5-star in Will Johnson. Then they have 3 4-stars. Look, Michigan is playing catch-up in recruiting in this 2022 recruiting class. Matt Dudek's out. They've got 3 or 4 highly impactful staffers that are coming in and taking over the different aspects of the recruiting department. So I don't think it's odd to think that Michigan might be behind Ohio State and Penn State. Certainly I think Rutgers is a little surprising. But these next 2 weeks are absolutely huge, right? You've got recruiting commitment, big weekend this weekend coming up on June 11th, and then that June 18th weekend, you might have as many as 30, potentially 40 if you consider unofficial guys coming into campus. Walter Nolen will be on campus. I'm sure Michigan will bring in all of the commits that weekend to put the pressure on him if he doesn't commit elsewhere prior to say, hey, Michigan's the spot for you. We want you, and you need to commit here on the spot here while you're on your official visit. So with Walter Nolen coming in on the 18th, I'm going to ask you guys this question. For 2022, go down below in the comments and let me know Y or N. Yes or no? We like to make it simple. 1 letter instead of 3, 1 letter instead of 2. Type Y or N. Will Michigan have a top 15 class in the 2022 recruiting cycle? They're well outside of the top 15, hovering in the 20s right now. Number 4 class in the Big Ten. So go down below, type Y or N. And before we finish today's video, I do want to remind you guys one more time, I am always on Twitter at James Yoder. I tweet out a lot of things about Michigan football. I also try and take as many shots and make as many jokes about Ohio State so we can kind of have some fun, given the fact that they've got a little bit of program than Michigan does right now, but we can still poke fun at them as often as we can. So make sure you go follow me. It's on Twitter at James Yoder.